the spoilers in this movie are so crazy and they're so cool and exciting, and like people won't see them coming, you know, and I just want to tell everybody.
Great to see you all again. I feel like I've kind of grown up with you as well since we all talked at Homecoming.
Yeah.
So my opening question for you all, for all three, is how different did this feel making this versus Homecoming?
Funnily, it didn't feel that different, you know. It felt like the break between Homecoming and this film was our summer vacation, and then we were kind of going back to school again. Yeah. It really felt like we were kind of picking up where we left off. So oddly, it didn't feel that different.
Interesting way to put it. It is. Did you guys stay in touch?
Oh, massively,
no,
yeah.
We don't talk.
You guys seem like you went to school together. I mean,
basically
when it's over,
yeah.
cut communication.
No
all
communication.
I don't believe you.
Who are
no,
they?
you have to understand these two are actually major divas, and you have to understand something. I'm so like open to them, and they're like just shutting me out all the time.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
now we're turning it into a therapy session.
Yeah.
Oprah's gonna walk through the door.
yeah. Just so you know.
We're gonna start with you. Biggest thrill playing this character is what for you?
I think being able to just work with them and make something that everyone can enjoy. I think that being a part of like an iconic movie franchise in this universe is more of an honor than anything else. And all of it is just amazing.
Tom, fifth time to wear the suit.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to be Spider-Man, to play this character for you?
It's a dream come true, you know. I mean, I've been playing this character in my bedroom since I was a kid, and now I'm just the lucky kid who gets to play him on the big screen, you know. So every day I wake up and I sort of have to pinch myself and remember and remind myself that this is a reality and that I'm living my dream. And yeah, I mean, it really, really is an honor, and you know, working with these guys and working with Jon Watts and working with Marvel and Sony and you know, I would never have thought I'd get the chance to work with Sam Jackson or Jake Gyllenhaal. So it's just a real honor. That it's the job that keeps on giving, is the way I describe it.
Same question for you. Were there pinch yourself moments, like when you look around and you see the rest of the cast, an amazing ensemble?
Yeah.
But how does it feel to be a part of this?
It's overusing the word amazing, but it truly is amazing. Like, it's crazy to think that you're like this little small piece of a massive puzzle, and I don't know, I just feel like I think all of us feels very lucky, but there's times, especially shooting this movie, like, you know, we were running around outside of, you know, these beautiful, amazing landmarks and, you know, places that some people only get to see pictures of.
Right.
And here we are shooting like Spider-Man here, you know. It was very like pinch me kind of moments, and very special to know that like not only do I get to shoot it with like some of my best friends in the world, but also be traveling the world and have an experience that I think that we'll all never forget, you know.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Beck.
But you handled yourself well out there today. Saw what you did with the tower.
Thanks.
Dude, it is so good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Wow. Blew me away.
Yeah?
We've talked over the years, and actually I even knew you before when I was doing radio. I knew you. So seeing you in this role, I was just like, man, my man, killed it.
Thanks,
It's
man.
It's a different role for you.
Yeah.
What drew you to this?
I mean, there are a lot of things that drew me to it. I think primarily I love the take that was different from the comics, and that, like, you know, he's an antagonist in the comics, and because he's a little bit more obscure than a lot of the more iconic characters in the Marvel universe, it allowed me to do some things and allow Marvel to do some things that people wouldn't necessarily expect without feeling like you've been, you know, lied to. And so I love that he's a hero, and I love that he joins forces with Spider-Man, and I love the whole concept of that, and that really got me excited. And then I think the costume is sick, and I like was a little afraid of the fishbowl helmet and what they were gonna do, but when we finally decided what it would sort of all look like, and particularly how it would appear and not appear and disappear and all this and that, I was like, this is great.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man.
Great to see you as always.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I want to thank you for being such an awesome person. I'm a mama's boy. You know Mom, she's my best friend, but every time you see her or you see me, you always ask about her. And my friend, I can't thank you enough for that.
That's cool.
You're just awesome. You're just a great guy. You really are. Let's talk about your relationship with Spidey right now. How is that developed without giving away too much?
I'm kind of like the relative who kind of asked the girl, when you gonna get married, when you gonna have kids. So I'm there with him, challenging him with Tony Stark told me this was the guy, and I'm like, okay, so show me you're the guy. Tony says you're the guy. Prove to me you're the guy. You have a great responsibility. When are you gonna live up to your responsibility? Stop being a teenager and be a superhero. So I'm that guy right now.
What is the biggest thrill about playing this character, Nick Fury?
Nick Fury? I guess the biggest thrill for me is, being the ordinary person in the room, or the person with no superpowers, but almost the most power.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting phenomenon to be able to play someone whose personality is big enough to bring these people in and make them cooperate with him, or even listen to him.
You are a huge comics fan, and we have talked about that. But I've gone back through our interviews. Besides Nick, I've never asked you who your favorites are.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess when I was a kid, I was a huge Flash and Silver Surfer fan. Flash because I ran track and I was a runner. Silver Surfer because he didn't have a racial identity and it was easy for me to attach myself to him.
What is the eye patch like to wear? Is it comfortable? I've never asked you that either.
Oh, no, it's very comfortable. Yeah. We've worked on it over the years to the point where my dresser actually keeps it. So wherever she is right now, my eye patch is with her. She has two of them. They have foam inside of them, and they're very comfortable. And I make sure that I can't see any light on the outside of it. It's very specific.
I was going to ask what it's made out of. Okay, so there's a foam underneath it.
Got some foam in there with a little eye socket thing, but it's leather, and the buckle is exactly the right way. So I can only hold it on my face, and she puts the strap on my head and sits it in the exact right way it needs to sit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What are the costume likes and dislikes? Because I always ask actors that question, and we've never been able to talk about this type of role for you.
I loved my costume. I gotta say, if you can give me 50 to 75% of my character already, and I don't even have to do the work, I'm in. And that's what a costume does, and I love it. And so I loved wearing it. It was so hot last summer when we were shooting. But I also do love to sweat. It's a really great thing. So I was perpetually sweating in this thing, which I actually weirdly enjoy. I just think it's I thought it was so cool. I mean, maybe over time, if I were to wear it again and all that stuff, maybe I'd have a different attitude about it. But the costume makers, the people who helped me put it on daily, were so good. We had it down to a science. And so in that way, I loved it. I really did love it. But I'm up for those things. I feel like I'm a kid again when I put them on, and so many of the roles I've played they're very serious. It's very serious, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I've changed a lot of my physical self. This is just it was fun.
Most important question I have to ask all three. Tom, I'm looking at you at this one. How hard was it to keep it a secret?
That's tough.
No, but I mean, really, I'm making fun.
You said that like the secrets are out. Yeah. It's still really hard. I'm so stressed. It's not easy. It's really not easy because the spoilers in this movie are so crazy and they're so cool and exciting, and people won't see them coming, and I just want to tell everybody.
It's fine. It's fine. Do you guys tell? Do you have family members and friends that go, "Come on, you can tell me"?
My family honestly couldn't care less. I don't think any of them know. My cousins do, but my family back home in Hawaii just they just see me on TV and that's it. Yeah. That's all they know.
Luckily, we have each other to talk
Yeah, that's true. I have one friend who I can tell everything to, and he won't tell anyone. Yeah. It's Tessa, my dog.
How did you keep this a secret? As I'm watching this, because these are post-Endgame events, and I'm not ruining anything by saying that.
Right.
So when did you find out about Endgame you've known for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the special few who knew all the events of Infinity War and Endgame and how it was all going to wrap up. So I've been keeping that secret for a really long time.
You couldn't even tell family or
no, like
wow.
you really have to keep that stuff wrapped up.
You could be CIA for not pulling that off.
This is my audition. Yeah.
How has Tom grown from the last one? From when we talked, actually, it was you, Tom, and I talking at Homecoming. He just has really grown into this role. As his director, you've seen the progression. Tell me about that, how he's stepped into this role even more.
Well, what's great is that everything that's happening in these movies is also an interesting mirror for what him and I are both actually going through on these films. Like, Homecoming is all about this kid given this crazy opportunity and is desperate to prove himself and afraid like he's gonna screw up, which is how we felt. And now Far From Home is about suddenly the world is looking to you and saying, okay, what's next? What are you gonna do? It's time for you to step up, and you suddenly feel nervous, like, oh, I don't know, are we really ready? So, you know, there's always been a nice parallel between reality and the films for both of us, and he's just, you know, he's been able to embrace that and really make the role his own.
You had more toys for this one, it looks like, and you also shot in more locations.
Yeah.
Did it feel bigger this time around?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the goal. You know, the story is about suddenly going from being a small-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to being a superhero on the world stage. So it made sense that also the movie would be bigger and it would feel bigger, and we would go actually be on location and try to capture the spirit of you know, that kind of a road trip, globe-trotting adventure.
What does it feel like for you personally to now work on these big Marvel? Okay, because I couldn't even imagine. I'd have to pinch myself daily. What does it feel like to work on these big Marvel films for you?
It's great. I mean, you know, the thing that's nice about all movies is that even no matter how big or how small they are, like, there's something nice that you're always just working on one shot at a time. So I just try to focus on what's in the frame and not get overwhelmed by thinking about how big it is or any of that, you know.
But were there times when you said, yeah, this is Spider-Man, this is Marvel, this is cool?
Oh yeah, like you're looking around and you're like, oh, there's Nick Fury and there's Spider-Man, and you know, wait, is that Jake Gyllenhaal? I love Jake Gyllenhaal. You have to remember, oh right, also you're the boss and you have to be in charge. You can't just be a geek the whole time.
What is it like for you? I asked you about Nick Fury, but what is it like for you to be a part of these huge Marvel? These are big movies.
Yeah.
Come on, you know it.
It feel the same way to me. You know,
okay, that's interesting.
I show up and I do my job. I mean, Nick Fury is in a situation, so I do situations. I don't think about the big picture because certain times you're not supposed to know that sort of stuff. So I don't head into it acting like I know it. I head into things like, you know, I'm learning, or I've figured out what I need to do to make somebody do this, or my manipulative powers as Nick Fury need to be used to do this. So here we kind of find him almost like in Captain Marvel, when I didn't realize there were other things out there, and I learned something, and now that I know it, I need to find a solution or a way to incorporate this or incorporate them into what I need them to do. Now, you know, he's kind of showing back up and things have happened, and he's got to figure out what his, you know, new normal is right now.
Do you ever sneak into the theaters just to watch these movies with other people, like just with fans?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Do people sometimes just turn around and go, hey, wait a minute?
Yeah, they get freaked out. I actually watched Endgame in Italy a month or so ago. They had one English-speaking screening, and I got there, and I messed around and got there early, and people saw me sitting in the theater, so people would literally come sit in front of me and take selfies with me sitting behind them eating popcorn while I was there waiting on the movie start.
Stan Lee, I spent an hour with him on stage. He came through Houston, and that was one of the, I'll never forget that, just sitting next to him and talking about his career and his life. He looked at me and I asked him, I said, who's your favorite character, without hesitation? He said, Spider-Man. Were you aware of that?
Yeah. He's always loved Spider-Man the most just because Spider-Man's the most relatable, and I think it always just cracked him up that Spider-Man had just regular problems. He didn't ask for any of this responsibility, and he's just juggling his life with all these superhero responsibilities, and And I think there's something about that that always just like, that was like such a great character for Stan.